Show number 2. With beer. I caught some flack for eating nachos on the show, so we'll see if that happens with beer. Hello. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Is it okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Welcome.
But I feel like my audio is off. Okay, alrighty.
I can hear you fine.
Alright. Or should I just... Okay, hold on. 1 second. Sorry. Okay. Hi. I'm so sorry about yesterday. I don't know what happened to me. I think I have to take responsibility for this. I think there's a little bit of carelessness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean to come across that way. It's just kind of slipped off my hands.
Yeah, no. Yesterday, energetically, was incorrect for me to... The whole day was just, like, all over the place. So,
right, yeah.
I wouldn't say it's entirely your responsibility.
I understand. But I kind of knew for some reason, like, it wasn't going to happen. I don't know why. I kind of felt that. And then I just accidentally kind of missed my show.
No, we felt that. We felt that
like,
here,
okay.
too. Like, we both knew that. Come here, dog. You want to say hello?
Right.
You want to say hi to the dog?
Oh, hi. What's his name? He's so cute.
This is Saki. That's a girl.
What's his name again?
Saki.
Docky. Hi.
Saki,
I love dogs.
Like the drink?
Yeah, like my life.
Yeah?
I actually have a dog too. His teeth is kind of showing up.
You have a dog?
But he's kind of sleeping.
Oh.
Yeah, do you want to see?
Yeah.
He's incredibly cute. Hold on.
This is hobo beer.
So sorry about the delay.
Huh?
Okay. Tesla! Come, say hi. Oh my god.
Tesla?
He's a English Cocker Spaniel.
What's his name?
Casper.
Casper.
His name is Casper.
I thought you said Tesla.
Casper, say hi.
Hi,
Come
Casper.
on. Hi.
Hello. He's a Cocker Spaniel?
Yeah, he's an English Cocker Spaniel.
Oh, nice. How old?
He's the cutest I've seen. I mean, in the Cocker Spaniel breeds.
Is he sticking his tongue out?
But this boy hasn't aged. a day. He's like 11 years old. Can you believe that?
He's 11. He just sticks his tongue out all
Yeah.
day, or what?
Sorry?
He sticks his tongue out all day?
No, it's only when he's sleeping. Yeah, it's kind of very cute. He behaves like a baby, but he's not. He's an old grandfather who needs my assistance all the time.
he's
okay.
He's on welfare.
Sorry.
He's on welfare. Are you're his welfare?
Yes. Actually, I don't know if you can really call it welfare. He's like maybe part of our family.
So he's like the he's like a grandpa. He's like a grandpa you're taking care of.
13 years old.
How you've had him the whole time?
Since I was like 13.
Okay, yeah. So you had him as a puppy. I think your connection is not great.
Yeah. 12,
your face is frozen.
That's when I actually got my face. Sorry?
Yeah, your face was frozen. I think your connection is not great.
Stable? 1 second. Let me change it. Oh, I'm on guess. Okay, let me change it. 1 second. If I snap out. Is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay, it's kind of weird because my dad has AI all around the house. I can't go and argue with him. Yeah, it's like, so basically Google Home does the switch for us, does the internet for us. So we don't even use switchboards. It's like we talk to this AI Google thing and then it does everything.
Yeah. Like Alexa's kind of?
Yes, kind of. It's a new integrated AI system, actually. But
that's what AT&T's Internet of Things was about.
Right. Yes, but this goes maybe a little step further because basically it has every control of the so-called integrated tech, like right at the palm of your finger, or maybe your voice. So you basically speak to it and then it will speak to you back, and then but it's kind of funny because these are the little things that kind of becomes like the big set of things that controls people. But obviously I can't go and tell my dad this. He would think that I'm an illogical person who's illiterate. So I'm like, okay, just do what you want to do.
Yeah. Your dad, you live with your dad?
Yes, I live with my dad and my mom.
Okay.
Parents. Okay. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I've never.
It's funny.
I've never tried that out. Like the device that you're speaking to, and then it's just connecting you with the internet and all your appliances and whatnot, right?
Yes, from the heater to the TV to the lounge light, everything is connected to this thing called the EWE link. So basically you can operate it from your application on your phone. Like basically you may be anywhere else. Like you could be like maybe halfway across the world, but you can still manipulate or control your appliances at home.
Yeah.
So that's the premise of it all.
Right.
And also it's also connected to this AI Google thing where you can talk to it, and then basically that AI integrated system will do the job for you, basically. Will
perform the task.
Yes, it will perform the task.
Yeah.
But it's kind of weird because my parents are like highly educated in the tech business, but then here I am, I kind of disconnected from that element of
Yeah.
My both parents work in the IT business. They're basically they have been like professionals for like maybe 15 years. So
are they comfortable or intelligent with how they operate with that sort of integration in the house, or is it sort of just like as playthings, like, or they just need to do it because everybody else is doing it?
Oh, my dad does it because it's his passion.
Uh-huh.
Like, my dad, it's kind of funny. He's a very intelligent, I would even call him a genius in that kind of aspect. When it comes to the tech, he just likes to get busy with his hands and likes to always think. Like, he's a very logical person. So he did basically all of this out of his own curiosity. Okay. Because I think he was just bored and he just wants to play around with these different things. But I think for my mom, though, even though she loves her job now, she didn't really enjoy it very much when she first started as a business IT analyst. Mm-hmm. She really hated it. But then now, I feel like it's kind of an acquired taste for her now, where she's just gotten used to it, and then because of her post and maybe the perks of having a good job and the pay, I guess it kind of, you're like, okay, at the end of the day.
Is it expensive? Because, is it super expensive to live in Singapore?
I would say yes. Like, if you earn about $5,000 a month, like, which is about $50,000, mm-hmm. you cannot live comfortably, especially when you have a family.
Like, that's not enough.
That's not enough.
What would you say is like the comfortability level?
I would say about 10 to 11 grand if you have kids.
Okay.
If you want to live like comfortably.
That's essentially San Francisco, like, to live comfortably in San Francisco with. Right. Because San Francisco, the Bay Area, which I'm in, is mm-hmm. the most expensive in the whole states, the whole United States.
Oh my God! How much is it to actually?
It's equivalent to like New York or Hawaii, I think.
Oh, right. Makes sense.
But I mean, in every situation where everybody says that the cost of living is so much here, there's also still other ways around that. Like, this mm-hmm. place that we got is $1,200 a month for this particular room in a big house. So we split that in half, and now we're paying $600 each. So cost of living for us is in the Bay Area is not so bad, but that had to involve some creativity to find that.
Right. That's very expensive. That's about how much we pay here. But actually, when I went to LA, I thought it was much cheaper than Singapore. I actually thought that
LA is cheaper.
But San Francisco is something that I haven't explored. I wanted to, but I didn't have the time the last time when I came.
Like, a house in San Francisco, the minimum that you can buy a house for is $1 million.
Right. I actually have a cousin there. Mm-hmm. She just bought a house in San Francisco. But from what I know, it's like a lot of these people who are well off in the U.S., they're either like they're in business or they're in IT. I don't know why. Maybe it's the tech, because we are, kind of steering towards the tech, and it's like.
It's tech. It's mostly tech.
It's tech.
Yeah.
Right.
Because of Silicon Valley. Tech creates the possibilities for.
Right.
Tabulating the wealth, I suppose you could say.
Right.
Because before that, yes. back in the day, before the tech was around to help us with all the calculations and the number stuff, the kings and the rulers and the emperors, they had gold, right? They had like physical wealth.
Right.
And they had the people that sort of
helped them,
aligned with them and helped them, and they were the servants or whatever. But now you have the tech doing all that for you, and all of the servants now in the corporatocracy world we live in, the servants are called, shift managers, and they're called a human resource.
Oh, yes.
It's things like that, but it's the same system. It's still like the hierarchy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just now managed by the tech systems rather than managed, because before the king would manage it with their own self, like their being. They know who the people are, they know who the servants are, they know who the mistresses are and the concubines. You know, they know everything, but they're keeping it in their mind, whereas now it's in the computer's mind.
Yes, that's exactly what my mom does. Basically, she collects a company's accounts, and then they create a program that kind of analyzes them, where the business is going to work. So all of this programming does that for them, and then they have to do reports, and there's also kind of like a data analysis, which I guess in the primitive times people just did it with their heads.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's not just with the heads, it's like there's a network, like a feeling network, that humans, organic humans, communicate via, right? It's a sort of feeling that you identify with. Even in a conversation, you're identifying with an underlying feeling that the tone carries the conversation, right? So to me, that's how it would have been carried out in the past. It's feelings, like you're operating under a certain feeling. Like if a faction is about to war against you, right, and you're feeling threatened, it's still feeling. There's a feeling of angst, there's a feeling of threat, and then your whole system gears up and says, we're feeling threatened, and now all the plans come into play, right? But we've fallen from that state into tech managing everything, and maybe fallen is the wrong word, but we've moved to a different area where tech is managing it. And the difference to me is that tech is neutral. Tech is, yes, it can be manipulated, it can be co-opted by people with nefarious agendas, but tech, as far as I see it, is neutral. Like Siri is neutral, the Google thing you're talking to is neutral. It's not like, well, you're like, turn the light on. Google thing's not going to be like, well, it's actually, I'm fine with this sort of light ambiance, and I don't want to do that. Right?
Yeah.
So it's neutral in its sort of data acquisition and forming into pattern.
Right. I do believe to a large extent that I think with sensible use of technology it can really help people. But also there's also this question of, when something, everything starts with something innocent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how else to kind of put it.
Yeah, no,
because we're humans with crazy imagination and curiosity, so we're not gonna just leave it at, I'm just gonna explore this and it's for good reasons, and we're just not gonna do that.
Yeah. It starts off innocent. So, it does.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's choice. It's still choice. Like, you choose even to live in that environment where the technology is. It has power. The thing has power to take commands, and
I agree.
As far as you know, it only does what you want it to. But that's always been like the eternal dilemma: is the tech eventually going to start doing what it wants to do?
Oh yes, I agree. In fact, I'm going to major in data science next year. So I would be able to talk more about it and my findings and how I can basically look at it within its scope. Like, I'm not a third person perspective anymore. I'm going to be within it. I'm going to be learning machine learning. So I felt like it's going to help me to a large extent about how I understand technology, and not to like abrasively like put it off or support it at the same time, like to basically get a neutral perspective.
Yeah, whatever we have present in the reality field needs to be acknowledged. If something is there, it needs to be acknowledged. Not running away from it, or not pretending it doesn't exist. Like, technology is here, very obviously, and also AI is here.
Yes.
So to like recognize that they are present and they're affecting everybody, and then saying how does this fit in, and how does it fit in properly, and how do we not allow it to become its own like government where all of your thoughts are now corralled appropriately according to the AI, assuming that you want your inner freedom, you keeping these things in check and in balance is important.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. Um, yeah, I still remember a time where we were kind of transitioning into the Apple era of iPhones. The transition was kind of it was very swift, actually, like from the year 2005 to 2010, like, because it was a time where I completely lived without like touchscreen or instant Googling kind of thing, and then suddenly everything became like an instant. Uh, I mean, as a kid, I think it was more shocking than anything. But now I've just gotten used to it, like
Yeah, just that simple process of what Google represents.
Right.
Because if you look at the outward manifestation of that company, they are huge, right? It's a massive company.
Oh yeah, yes.
And if you look at what it's actually doing, it's doing a very simple thing. It's allowing you to send an inquiry into the collective knowledge database, which is called the internet.
Right.
And then how it populates, the answers is tech, it's algorithm, but it's still like you can ask any question and you'll get results, and then you can filter those based on your own internal preferences. But that didn't exist before. Right. I think Yahoo was like the first one, and then Google came and did it better.
Yes, it outdid Yahoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just the concept of I can ask a question to, because like if you go out in the street and shout out a question, you might get an answer. Like some person might come up and say, "This is what I think about it." But with the internet, when you shout out the question, you're getting a formulaic response from the whole database, but also specifically tailored to yourself, because the system is also collecting data points about you and your personality and your preferences and all of that.
Right. Absolutely.
So it's very interesting.
Yes, it's definitely very interesting, and yeah, I do also think that it makes people's life convenient, but obviously there are pros and cons to the technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The iPod came out in early 2000s, right? Like 2000, 2001, something like that.
Which one?
The iPod, like prior to iPhone.
I think the smallest one came out in the early 2000s. Yeah. And then it kind of went on to becoming this like this very small tab, I think, in the year 2005, 6. Yeah. Because I remember vividly my mom going to the store and buying herself one. Yeah. So I remember it clearly. Yeah. It's so surreal just thinking about everything that happened.
It's very fast. The iPod became the iPhone, and then that became
the iPad, and
the iPad, and that became the MacBook Air, which I'm using, and all of the variations of it. But it's the same thought form that Google is, which is like ask a question and have it answered immediately and tailored specifically to your own subjective needs. Right.
Right. So it's basically like our own personal encyclopedia where we carry on, and then it just kind of feeds you that information or, that programming that you need. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah.
And it's also tied into the religious stuff, because like Apple, it has a bite out of it, right? Like that's biblical.
Yes, isn't it something to do with what's that guy's name? Who was killed in the for being gay. Fuck, I forgot his name. There was a movie about him. Benedict Cumber. Hold on a minute. 1 second. Let me see. The Imitation. I think it's The Imitation Game.
Yeah.
Alan. It was because it was.
You can go.
The movie was inspired by Alan Turing, right?
Oh, Turing. Yeah.
Yeah, because
the Turing method. I think
they poisoned his apple by cyanide, and that's how they.
Yeah, Turing. I remember that name. He developed something. He developed some algorithm, or he developed something related to.
Yeah, during the World War II, he was helping the Nazis with the Enigma code. Yes, I remember it now. Mm-hmm. To break their submarine.
Yeah, like it was to break any. It was like the highest encryption breaking technology, right?
Yes. Yeah. I guess they were trying to get par with Americans with the Enigma code because they were like kind of how would you say it? Because one of it was protected, and this was needed to kind of break the stationary kind of game between them. I remember like vaguely, but yeah. So how is this related to the religious cult, though?
Because Eve and the apple, right?
Oh, yes.
Which is...
That makes sense.
Bite the apple and then become aware of the knowledge of good and evil. And then the fall and all of that, right?
I go, yes. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool, actually.
And the apple has actually changed color. Like, the apple is now black on the iPhone when you turn it on, and the screen, the background screen is white.
Yes.
And it used to be something different. I forget exactly what it was, but the apple did not used to be black, in the background white, but now it is. Like on the startup screen when you start the iPhone up.
Mm-hmm.
Before maybe it was reversed. Maybe the apple was white and the background was black, or maybe the apple was a different color. For me, at least, and this is probably some Mandela effect thing.
Oh yeah.
For various people,
I remember
maybe saw
in the
something
beginning
different.
it was. Well, now they've changed the colors, but when it first came out, I remember it was only white. They only had white versions, and then the screen was black. I remember it.
Yeah, so it was just reverse of what it is now.
Yes, correct.
Yeah,
yes. Yeah. Now you just kind of get a whole different. And
so that's flipping, but it's still like. And I was talking to somebody about this, but Jobs, the guy that Steve Jobs, right? Apple,
Steve Jobs, yeah.
Right? He went and had some spiritual thing, some ayahuasca experience or something in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had visions of all of this company coming about, which is the company that is now Apple. And then he came back to the States and created it with Wozniak, right?
Right.
So like the very deep programs that are running, like the biblical programs, still play out. They play themselves out. People go and have spiritual experiences, and they see tie-ins to the underlying programs, and then they go play their part in it. And whether or not he knew that, or whether or not he was okay with that, we don't necessarily know because we only see his public persona. But as far as the symbology and the tie-ins and correlations, it's pretty well tied.
I mean,
in.
I to be honest, when I was gonna research about him, he already passed.
Yeah.
I remember this, but from what I saw in that man, apparently he didn't even want his family around the stuff that he created for some reason. Like his kids were not allowed to use iPads, and his family was kind of restricted in using that. It's kind of weird. The people actually who create all these very genius tech-based things eventually the ones who protectly guards them from their families. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's like the ex CEO of Facebook or ex vice president of Facebook, when he saw what the program was, that what it was actually designed for the people. It was designed to be addictive. The feed was designed to be addictive. Then
yes,
he resigned, or he stepped off from his position. Then he also took his kids off of it and his family, and he went public and made a video, and he was like, this is what it was designed for, you know?
Right.
And, you know, everybody can make their own decision. I'm going to run away from it, you know, like Facebook. I use Facebook all the time. We use it for Messenger. They always have the practical aspects, but at the same time, they have the binding aspects, like the addictive components, and it hooks you in.
Right. I agree.
And you can be sitting there scrolling the feed, scrolling. And the reason it's addictive is because it's tailored to you. You know, like that's why AI is so seductive.
Yes. Yes.
It's not a.
Isn't
it's
that
not
why
like
he
a
was
script.
prosecuted in the court like maybe a few months ago?
Oh yeah.
Is it? Yeah, because he was basically illegally using our information to program, to basically sell it off to the advertising companies, and then also to basically filter our preferences.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had some congressional thing, which was really funny to watch, because it was like old guys in suits who didn't really know what was going on, trying to talk to Zuckerberg, who's like this bot creature creation thing. But it was really interesting. That little interaction, I saw it as like Zuckerberg, he was being polite with the congressmen. He was being polite, but he was also playing his chess game, and he saw that they didn't really have any power to do much about it. So he was like, yeah, we're looking into this. Like, he was respectful, basically. That was that was the extent to which he gave any ground.
Right, yes. I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
They were actually making fun of the congressmen and trolling them. I still remember how they didn't know anything about the Facebook, and they were just shooting out questions that was like completely unrelated.
Yeah, there was no communication happening whatsoever.
That was really funny. Yeah, so it's just fascinating how just a very few people control everything.
It's not people.
So I guess
I don't think it's people.
I think it's. I mean, in real terms, I think it's much more than that. I feel like there's some beings and forces that kind of.
Yeah. There are energetic trends that are put out, however they're put out, and then the populace takes a stance to those trends. Like, be aware people will say, oh, all the sheeple are doing the thing and I don't want to do that, so I'm going to go sit over here and watch the show. And then the ones that are hooked into the machine, they get all busy with the things that are put out and take stances on, like, Republican versus Democrat and things like that, or how the Warriors are doing lately, you know.
Right.
The basketball team.
I've never seen people being so passionate about politics until I went to the States, and my friend was fighting over why they were telecasting Fox News. I was like, I had a blast. She wouldn't. I was like, it was very interesting because I know Indian politics do the same thing, but not to the extent where they fight over which channel is being telecasted at which hotel. So that was pretty interesting for me. She being a Democrat, she's like, well, you have to vote for the lesser evil. I was like, okay.
Even that's a thing. That's bad. Like, it's bad that people have accepted as normal that you have to vote for the lesser evil.
Right.
It's bad.
Yes. Yeah, she said that she got very defensive when I told her that maybe when you don't work, because in India there's one interesting aspect to the political system. It's called NOTA, Nota. It means you vote for none.
Mm.
So
really?
In fact, there were several movies that came about, which is very interesting because if I was a civilian, because in Singapore you have to vote, it's compulsory.
Or
you get jailed and
really?
or you'll be prosecuted and
so you must. Okay.
It's compulsory. It's a mandatory because we are not exactly democratic. I think we're partial. We follow partial democracy, or it's called.
That sounds like a dictatorship.
Illiterate democracy.
Dictatorship.
In literal terms.
If something is compulsory, that's a dictatorship.
Yes, it's compulsory. Like you will be prosecuted.
Yeah.
In fact, they may even kick you out of the country.
Yeah.
But in India, there's this thing called Nota. You can basically click that. That means you're voting for nobody. It's kind of interesting. I was thinking maybe America could have that.
But Singapore doesn't have it?
No, Singapore doesn't have it. But India has it, which is very surprising to me.
Yeah, and you can say I voted.
Yeah.
You can have the sticker.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, if I lived there, that would be the very thing that I would do every year, and then get people to basically choose that option.
Yeah.
Just so very cool. But then obviously you just don't tell because a lot of the times these politicians pay the civilians money in return for the vote. Mm-hmm. That's how they basically. It doesn't happen in America, right? Like they don't.
It happens everywhere.
Really?
They're called special. They're called special interest parties here.
Right.
No, the bribing and the graft and the is happening everywhere. It's just there are varying levels of transparency on the political scene as far as image, as far as what's put on the news. Did I lose you?
Yeah, can you see me still? I think we're freezing.
Your face froze.
Oh.
Did the old network sneak back in? Oh, my network. Maybe mine's going bad.
Yeah, it says your network bandwidth is slow.
Yeah, it just said it to me too. Oh, this is what happened. You hear the beep?
Yes.
This was on my end, so I've used 100% of my 15 gigabytes of mobile hotspot because I'm doing hotspot for this.
Oh, right. Yeah, it drains it faster, actually.
Yeah. So they throttled us, basically.
Right.
So we're probably gonna have to end it a little bit early, otherwise the quality will be bad.
Absolutely okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think we recorded this, but we can do a proper show.
No. We recorded it.
Oh, we recorded it? Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's a good show.
So yeah, it was really good talking to you.
This was a tech show, right?
This was a what? Sorry again.
Tech show.
Oh, tech show. Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have you been? And I don't know, maybe you don't want to share or not, but how have you been personally as far as your own dealings?
Oh, I have been more happier, I guess. Um, I guess because I did like a detox. I did it for 14 days. I don't know how I did it, but it totally liberated me. I'm back to normal now. But I feel like that was a very, very profound experience because during those times when, when your body is not spending all the time digesting food, when you're really fasting, I feel like your body literally like wakes up to the things that it needs to wake up.
Yeah.
Because its focus is not on digestion anymore. So I realized a lot of things about myself, and I have also been attracting a lot of fellow seekers who I enjoy talking to, which was really amazing. And just, I guess, enjoying school.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But you don't feel as alone now, right? Because I remember when you first came to me, you were saying like spiritually alone.
Oh, spiritually alone. Yes, I have been feeling that less and less. Oh, I completely forgot to tell you. I actually talked to Tom Montauk.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe this. Because he's one man that I have been trying to talk to. He just literally came into my existence. Like, one day I wake up and I'm hearing from him, and then we had the most
Tom
beautiful
Montauk?
conversation. Tom Montauk?
Who is he?
Do you know who he is?
I don't.
Oh.
We might have talked about it, but I probably forgot.
Right. He's also one of a very good spiritual facilitator. He has his own blog. He's very low-key kind of a person. You don't really see him online. He's not on social media. He came out. In fact, Lauda knows him, I'm sure, because they have done like video conferences together on the YouTube. That's how I know him. And I've been following his work because he's a very logical, at the same time very spiritual kind of a man. So he basically merges these two worlds together, which is kind of very amazing.
So how did he contacted you?
I basically found him on a social networking platform, and then I just got the response right away. And the most fun is that he's half Singaporean. Can you believe this? I couldn't believe it myself. Like, my eyes is blowing. It's so weird how synchronicities happen in the most weirdest way possible.
Yeah.
So then from then on, I've been hearing from a lot of people that I have been following in the spiritual community, which is amazing, I guess. So I don't think I feel alone, so to speak, anymore. I guess you're right. I think the more you align yourself to your own will and your spiritual significance, I think a lot of things just flows. Just kind of, your reality becomes like a flowing river rather than something that you manipulate to make you work.
Right. You're not sitting there like pulling dials and levers and knobs and like, no, that's not working, let's change. It's the flow state more does itself, and you were kind of like in there with it.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And how have you been? Like, it's been a long time, since
it's been
I had like a proper chat.
It's been a long time. It's a roller coaster over here. I have my own place, and I have not, I've been in the car for the last 2 years up until maybe 2 weeks ago. So I have a bed and a house, and things are sort of stabilizing over here, but energetically, it's still, well, I'm very much present all the time, but still like waves come through sometimes where I have to like hold on to the guardrails, while this energy passes through. But overall, I've been very much steady, I guess.
Oh, that's nice. I can see it on your face.
Yeah.
I'm so. It's like the more I get to know you, it's like the more calmer Gary I can see.
Yep.
You have that kind of effect, I guess.
Yeah. I keep settling. More and more settling.
Yes. I guess that's the perfect term you can use.
Even though that's a negatively connotated word for the most part as far as the regular society is. Don't settle. You know?
Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. Yes. But I guess you've kind of transcended the word.
Yeah. My settling is like if you take a glass of water and a bunch of dirt and rocks and stuff and shake it up. The settling is like they're finally like drifting down to the bottom.
Yes, like slowly, but yeah, kind of see it gradually going down.
Yeah.
Oh. Again, I guess it's the Mandela effect.
There's all kinds of things going on.
Right.
But I'm good. I'm good.
Right, that's very nice. And I also saw your place on Facebook. It's very beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, and
it's more dynamic than the one that you lived before, I guess.
Yeah, much more.
Right.
There's a bunch of roommates here, and they're all sort of eclectic and very much individual to themselves and on varying levels of sort of the awareness spectrum. Like, it's good. It's very good energy.
I think before we sign off, I just because I'm learning about I'm learning something about the individualism and the collectivist culture in my social psychology classes, and it's kind of weird how like American culture shapes the way American people think, but I'm kind of straddling the ground and definitely come from a collectivist culture and where it's not about your unique personality anymore. It's about how people accept you and how the society views you. So it's very interesting how the cult basically can either like completely dumb you down, so to speak, or to like completely liberate you. So
yeah.
So when you say that you have roommates who are very individualized and unique, it makes a lot of sense. It just kind of it just kind of makes sense to the things that I'm learning in theory.
This situation was not a situation that would just come about if we went about it in the normal searching fashion. So we did it in a different fashion to where it's attracting like minds rather than going by the silliness of the system.
Right.
And yeah. And yes, everybody's individual, but everybody's also like loving to one another and understanding and allowing the various roommates to be how they are because everybody's different. And how you flow through the day and when you come in and out the front door and all this stuff, like it's more understood on the inherent level than we have to write it all down in a contract and then everybody signs off and then when something happens, get in a fight about it. It's a completely different energetic level than that.
Oh, right. Yeah. I agree.
It's good.
Alrighty. I don't want to cap your internet furthermore.
It's capped for the month. What are we like on this? This can't even be right. Maybe I used 15 gigs in one day. We're like on the second, right?
Yes. 15 gigs is a lot to use in one day, actually. But I guess it's because of the hotspot.
No, I did another. I did another show before this one.
Oh, okay. It could be because of that.
And that one was like 7 gigs when I saved it.
Oh my god.
So maybe.
Yes, actually, it takes away more when you download or.
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
I think using this thing as like a hotspot, it drains it too fast, especially if you're doing shows. Like, yeah, it's fine though. It's good. Something to remember.
Right.
So, good to chat again, Gaythri.
Yes, of course. I really enjoyed talking to you and talking about all these various tech issues and
yeah. Yep.
But yeah, hope to catch you soon again. You have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Okay, bye. See you, peeps.